Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Catching the Facts podcast here on the Catching the Facts official podcast network. I'm your host, Dan Sisk.
And I'm Schroeder.
And we got a lot of good games that happened this week in football. We after our news roundup to start our show, we're going to be doing Oklahoma and Missouri, Oregon and USC, Pitt versus Georgia Tech, the Chiefs versus the Colts, the Cowboys versus the Eagles, and the Lions versus the Giants. We actually have a good amount of NFL this week. The same amount as college, which I think, Eric, is pretty rare. Am I remembering that right? So
It'll be the first time.
Yeah, so good amount of variety in this show. We're excited to get into it. Eric, you ready to get started with the news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so guys, the first big story, which I don't really know how big of a story this is. All the drama with Lane Kiffin in the last 3 or 4 days, this story has kind of blown up to taking over the entire program. And I got to tell you, Eric, I actually feel really bad for Ole Miss fans because this is an awful situation to be in. I mean, you are you're a top 10 program, and all people can talk about in advance of your rivalry game is whether or not your head coach is going to ditch you before the playoff. I mean, that is just brutal, right? I mean, am I overreading this, or is that like truly scumbag behavior here from Lane Kiffin?
No, it's not, and it's bad. I don't know, man. It's just crazy because he's built this program up. These past couple years, especially last year with Jackson Darden, and especially this year now, even they're number 6 in the country,
Yeah.
and and like you just said, the talk should be how good Ole Miss football is, not about Lane
Okay.
Kiffin's future.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is Lane Kiffin. But everyone's talking about Lane Kiffin's future because he's got a big decision to make.
Yeah.
With LSU firing their head coach, and he's got some other jobs opening up too.
Mm-hmm.
But it is sounding like he is going to go to LSU. This is not confirmed, but I mean, there's a lot of things hinting towards it. They're but it just sucks. I mean, because you got to feel for Ole Miss fans right now.
Yeah, I'm not an Ole Miss fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, this is a situation that dooms any program. I mean, uh, when the son of the head coach, if you guys didn't see this, Lane Kiffin's son posted on Instagram a picture of a football player wearing LSU headphones, and it's like, come on, man. I mean, are you trying to support your father? I know that his entire family was flown down to Louisiana either last week or 2 weeks ago, and they were basically treated like kings. So I understand that his son Knox clearly had a good time there and enjoyed himself, but just because they pamper you doesn't mean that you just break the I guess not the conduct code, but the morality code. I would argue when it comes to these college head coaching decisions. I mean, it's just I found that to be who it reminded me of, Eric. Tad Prescott.
Who?
Tad Prescott.
Oh,
Yeah, remember how Tad Prescott would just not be able to shut the hell up whenever the Cowboys would do something that even remotely went against Dak. That's what it reminded me of. And that's not a good comparison. You shouldn't be hearing Tad Prescott's name. You don't want to be compared to him. That's bad. But yeah, it's looking like Florida's offer for him is rumored to be about 115, 120 million dollars, and the rumor is that the offer that Florida has given him is a little less than 100 million. So, I think based on what's going on with Brian Kelly right now, where Brian Kelly's arguing that LSU is screwing him over royally, I would not want that LSU gig because they're just going to throw you under the bus eventually, Lane. Um, but and then Florida is bad, Eric. I mean, you don't want to go to Florida right now. So honestly, if I were him, I'd stay. But he won't.
yeah.
He won't.
I don't know. I mean, but can you really go off what Brian Kelly says? I mean, he says a lot of nonsense.
and I get where you're coming from, but he is one of the more respected head coaches in the sport.
I guess so. I guess so. And
You know?
I mean, why would he lie about that? I guess they kind of screwed him over in a sense, but
Yeah,
um, I don't know. I mean, if I'm laying,
I
I'm
say.
honestly probably just going where the money is. You know, who's going to pay me more?
Yeah,
Because LSU's still a great program. They got great players, and all these kids are going to want to play for them.
sure.
Same with Ole Miss. You know, so it's I mean they're both head-to-head programs. They're both top in the nation. Maybe not LSU this year. But I mean, I would still go where the money is. I know it's probably not something that you would want to hear if you're an Ole Miss fan. But I mean, it just depends on who can pay him more. Honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the double-edged sword of nil, right? I mean, we're in an age where you're having to pay players, and get a completely different roster every single year. It's almost turned into basketball in that
Yeah.
sense.
Right.
And yeah, coaches are just all these coaches are locking up long-term deals, and the fact that Lane Kiffin has yet to lock up a long-term deal just kind of indicates that he's out the door for me. Because I mean, Matt Rule got a big extension in Nebraska, and if Matt Rule can get extended at Nebraska, Lane Kiffin can get extended at Ole Miss if he really wanted to. And the fact that he hasn't, I think, speaks volumes. So
Yeah, for sure. Definitely does.
yeah, so we'll see where it goes. Uh, we didn't, do this with, James Franklin or anything, but we felt that doing Lane Kiffin as a story before he was officially hired was necessary this week because again, the last 3 or 4 days, I don't know about you guys, but like sports talk shows play at my place of employment in the break room. So whenever I walk in to get something or walk through to get something, I hear all these hosts of all these various shows like on FS1 and whatnot talk about Lane Kiffin. And I mean, it's really a story that's kind of blown up considering he hasn't been hired by anybody.
Right.
Um, but so I just found that really interesting. But the
Yeah.
Mississippi State game, they should win that game. But if I'm a member of that team, if Mississippi State were a better program, I'd be really nervous because that there's going to be a ton of distractions on the field, and that's just really hard to play through. Man, it's bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Did you have something you wanted to add or?
Um, yeah, I guess just with the James Franklin thing, um, I don't know. I think the reason why we didn't cover it is because this is a bigger story than James
Oh yeah,
Franklin.
100%.
And also, I mean, this is an in conference thing. I mean, if he goes to any one of these schools, LSU, Florida, or stays at Ole Miss, it's staying, in the conference. James Franklin, there was really no Big Ten openings for him.
Yeah,
Um, and not that it in, but and uh, he didn't really have a decision to make either, James Franklin, because I mean,
correct.
he was out, he got fired.
Yeah.
I mean, but Lane Kiffin, man, he's got a big decision ahead of him, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I mean, wherever he goes is going to be good, I think. Maybe besides Florida, but
Yeah.
still, I would like to either see him at Ole Miss or LSU, and he'll be fine probably. So
Yeah,
we'll
but
see.
more importantly, wherever he goes, it's gonna be great material for us during our news round.
Right, exactly, even better.
That will be the number one story we talk about
Yeah,
when
this will not be the last time you'll hear Lane
yeah,
Kiffin's name for sure.
100% not. This will be a big story. Hopefully in the next week or two, we're able to
Yeah,
report on that because dude, if he leaves before the playoff game, I will just
I don't think he will. I don't know, man. That would be the biggest story of the year, I think.
I think so
But
too, and I would call him a scumbag on air. And I would do it with no shame. um,
I don't know. I mean, but yeah, he's got to weigh his options for sure and really think. I mean, about his future in college football. I mean, he's gonna. I don't know. He's got a big decision, and I don't think he leaves before then, before the playoff game. I think he'll see how the team does and how far he gets. I think this playoff, if he does stay, I mean, I think he will, but I think these playoff games are huge.
yeah, I can't imagine he would be that. I know he had a scumbag reputation before, and that's kind of what got him fired as a head coach the first time, and why he had to rebuild his career as a Saban disciple. But you'd think after all this time he'd grow up if he leaves this team before the playoff, he hasn't grown up. And if
Yeah.
honestly, if I'm an LSU fan, for example, and he announces that he's taking that gig and he does that before the playoff game, if I'm an LSU fan, I'm concerned.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I
definitely.
mean that's a bad look. So
And
it'll be
yeah,
interesting to
because I
see.
mean, Ole Miss, they're succeeding right now. If he doesn't
Exactly.
succeed at LSU, say he goes to, then it's what's he gonna do then? He's at a succeeding program right now.
Yeah, yeah,
But I don't know.
it's
We'll
gonna be
see.
interesting to see. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
That's all I have on that. What about you?
yeah, that's all I got as well.
Okay, guys. Next story on the news roundup. Jamar Chase. We talked about him a little bit last week. He extended an official apology. Do we believe him, Eric?
Well, yeah, I don't know. He apologized for spitting on Jalen Ramsey.
Uh-huh.
Um, what was that? 2 weeks ago at this, or well, I guess last week because he got suspended for this game. Against the Patriots, which they lost. And
Yeah.
yeah, but the thing is about his apology that really I wanted to say is um he didn't. Yes, he apologized. But he didn't mention Jalen Ramsey's name once in the apology.
Exactly. When I read the apology the first time and saw that Ramsey's name wasn't in there, I knew it wasn't sincere.
Right. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm so over that guy. And you know what's sad? I don't want to be over him because he's so freaking talented. He is such a gifted wide receiver, and to see him do something so childish, I don't know what Ramsey could have said that got him, that set him off to that extent. But the fact that he couldn't name Ramsey's name in that apology just tells you that it isn't sincere. And
Right.
I can't believe a word that was in there. That's a result.
Yeah, I mean, it was all, I think, PR. I mean, yeah, he has to apologize for that just to make his brand look better.
Uh huh.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, and like we said, I mean, it's not sincere. He doesn't mention Ramsey's name once, and that's the guy who really he should be apologizing to, not the
Yeah.
Steelers organization or the fans. He didn't hurt the Steelers organization at all. He helped them by getting out of the game.
Honestly,
Um,
you're right.
but yeah, I mean, that's I don't know. It's just I don't like that. Spitting it happens every week, and you see a new story come out, and it's stupid. I mean,
It is.
it's so disrespectful, and it should. I'm glad he got ejected for that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he's a beacon of morality on Thanksgiving Day against Baltimore. If he does
With
something
Burrow
dumb,
coming back,
yeah, with Burrow coming back, you're right. He's gonna if we want to take him seriously, Eric, I think he's gonna have to like really, really be professional and just keep his head down and be a leader on that offense.
yeah,
On Thursday. I think that game's gonna be really important just to kind of protect his reputation a bit.
yeah, definitely. I don't know. I don't know if I don't think his reputation's super like tarnished because of this. I mean, it's just a little bump in the road.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just kind of shows about his whole character right now, and you can tell like it wasn't sincere, like we said. And somebody's telling him to say that. He didn't come up with that on his own.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
That's
was
really all I had. I was just not really surprised. I was just kind of wanting to see a little bit more and see Jalen Ramsey's name mentioned in it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, man. It's just it's difficult. Okay, guys. So that is it for that story, at least for me. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, guys. So moving on, the last story we wanted to do, we haven't talked about in a couple weeks, the CFP bracket. We record this show on Tuesday night, so we start recording about an hour or two after the new rankings are announced. And for the last few weeks, we have been neglecting updates on that because there wasn't a bunch of new stuff there. But this week, we thought we would do it because we hadn't done it in a while. And yeah, I think it's worthy of our discussion. So update, the top five has stayed the same. Ohio State number one. Eric, I assume you agree with that ranking.
Yeah, I did.
um we've said numerous times, easily the best team in the country. It is not even remotely close. If they don't lose if they don't win the championship, it's their fault. It's their loss. Number 2, Indiana. Number 3, A&M, and number 4, Georgia. Do you agree with those other 3 teams as the buys?
Well, Georgia would play South Florida.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
But I
But
mean, the top four, Ohio State, A&M, and Indiana and Bama. I mean, yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Those are the 4 best in college football right now, and
how's
um,
Bama number 4? They just, they were coming off a loss. Um,
yes. Oh,
that's
sorry. Yeah, Georgia's number 4. I don't know what I was looking at. Georgia's
okay.
number 4, not Alabama.
That's
Alabama's
what I
way
was
up
looking
there.
at.
They're number 10.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say Bama's coming off their loss, but what I was saying was I guess I'll start off. I think that's an appropriate ranking. I think Indiana this year has looked better than they did last year. I think Signetti, as we've said multiple times, is just getting better and better as the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, and I believe that's an appropriate ranking. Number 3, A&M, Mike Elko has completely revived that program and made them a big time program again. So I think that's appropriate. They're number 1 in the SEC right now, deservedly so. And then number 4, Georgia. Um, After that Texas beat down, deserved to be number 4. So me personally, I believe those are the 4 teams worthy of the buys and the direct berths to the quarterfinals. Eric, what say you?
I mean, yeah, I agree. There's the like we said, I mean, they're the best team in college. They're the best 4 teams in college football. You can't really, and even with, I know Texas Tech kind of struggled last week. Um,
Yeah.
or Texas A&M, I mean, struggled last week,
Oh,
but
yeah, that's true as well.
I mean, they still won the game. Yeah, I understand if they get blown out by Lenora Sellers. Yeah, don't. I mean, you gotta drop them a lot. But they didn't. I mean, they came back, and that's what good teams do, and even great teams. That's what great teams do, and they should be respectfully third in the country. And then, yeah, what do you think happens with the ACC though?
Yeah, guys. So in the top 12, Tulane got in. Good for them. They've had a very underrated season. Um,
They do have to win their conference though,
they
which
do.
they
They do. They do. They're not automatically in. It's basically I think between them and James Madison.
yeah,
Um,
which we were talking about JMU when we
when we first
first
talked
did
about
the
them.
first came
Yeah.
out with it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's between those 2 teams. We'll see who gets it. Put a pin in Tulane for now. The ACC, Eric was asking me about that. Just the one team with Miami, and Miami is looking pretty flimsy right now. I think they're on upset alert against Pitt next week. We'll talk about that. Um, yeah, man, the ACC is having such a bad year. I mean, we've been saying this for the entirety of the season, but that conference just cannot be taken seriously in football. I mean, you can take them seriously in basketball, but you can't do that with football. And that's just the cold hard truth. Um, I mean, all of the potential contenders have really fallen away. We thought Miami was going to be, a slam dunk top 12 team. We were both criticizing the fact that they were as high as they were early in the season, but I think both of us thought that they would definitely be in the top 12. And the fact that they're basically on the line at this point, I think says a lot. Georgia Tech is imploding. Um, it's just a very tough spot for the ACC, and I really don't have any sympathy or feel bad because I feel like any fan who looked at these teams kind of knew that this was coming. I mean, Miami was their best bet, and I mean, how awful was Carson Beck last year? I mean, I really don't know why anyone would be really surprised. I mean, Pitt always has injury issues. Georgia Tech is still, an up and coming program. They're not ready to level up. Dabo Swinney can't evolve with the times, and so as a result, Clemson is struggling. Florida State is a powder keg. Mike Norvell is on definitely on the hot seat after their loss last week. This just turned into an ACC hagiography. Um, but I feel it's appropriate, man. I mean, they're a mess.
No, it
The
is. It
conference
is.
is a mess. Nothing else to add. They're a disaster. uh yeah, that's my thoughts on the ACC. Honestly, man, I'm predicting it now. I think Pitt wins.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially with what they did, against Georgia Tech, and we'll get to that. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's true. I mean, Miami doesn't look good. Carson Beck has looked terrible all year, except for the game, a couple games at the beginning of the year. But I mean, it's just like, and the fact that I mean, I don't know, man. Like the fact that any ACC teams are gonna get in right now, it's just like,
yeah,
why, like, and especially even against Oregon, man, that they have it right now.
yeah.
Miami and Oregon. Now, Miami obviously just a placeholder, for the
Sure.
ACC championship winner, but any top 3 ACC team right now, Georgia Tech, Pitt, or Miami, they're getting like blown out by 50 from Oregon.
You're right. All
Um,
three of those teams will get killed by Oregon. You're
because
100%.
I mean, we just saw Pitt get killed by Notre Dame. I mean,
Yeah,
Notre Dame put up like 50 on them.
yeah. You're right.
So, I mean, it's just like, and that's not an entertaining game. We have some entertaining games up here right now, but,
Sure.
with Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, that's a good game. But it's just like the ACC is just so bad right now that I don't even like. I wouldn't even waste my time watching an ACC game, if it weren't for the show.
Dude, honestly, last year it was a struggle to sit through the ACC championship.
Yeah,
And I had to because we had
I
to
know.
record, but it was
Yeah.
hard. It was genuinely like running a marathon. So, the fact that you and I are gonna have to do that again, we're gonna have to get alcohol or something to just get through it. I'm gonna need to buy some scotch, and suck it up. Um, but yeah, man, I feel I feel that yeah, that conference is a mess. So that's my thoughts. I honestly think no ACC team deserves it, and if it were me, none of them will get in. Um, I would have it come down to you have to have the four conference champs. I would have it come down to Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and then whichever group of five team is the best. Either Tulane or JMU. That's what I would do. Um, I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but it's what they should do. And I don't know. I know it's currently the rule that the five teams, five conference champs can get into the playoff. That's a stupid rule because as you just broke down eloquently, um, why the ACC is even competitive is beyond me. None of those teams deserve to be in the top 12. And the fact that one of them is basically again guaranteed to get in is absolutely ridiculous. God, now you put the ACC championship game in my mind, and I realize I'm gonna have to watch that garbage, and it's just really really depressing, and it's ruined the news roundup for me. I mean, I was really excited about this episode, guys. We have a bunch of great games, and now I'm just down on myself and life and the universe because I'm gonna have to watch that garbage. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. Let's put it this way: the first round games we're gonna have to rely on. I mean, again, obviously the rankings are gonna change between now and then, but like you're right, Bama Ole Miss is a great game. Notre Dame Oklahoma is a great game. Though two of the games are going to be good because two of the games are not going to involve the group of five champ and the ACC champ. So we're going to have to hope that those two games are super competitive and deliver and aren't a repeat of last year's disastrous first round where every game was a blowout. Because I can't do that again. Those games were horrible. And I was at the Penn State SMU game, and I can confirm that game was awful, even though it was a Penn State blowout. So it just we need redemption, and those two games are going to have to give it because the other two games are going to be trash, garbage. But that's my take. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
any other thing that you wanted to add.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really too much else to say. You really said it all. I mean, you said all I had to say about the ACC. I agree with everything you just said. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I mean, how much more do you think the rankings would change?
Um, I mean,
I
I
don't think
think
they'll change too much.
I don't think they're going to change that much either. I mean, I think Texas Tech is really the only player in the Big 12 now. I think the BYU game sealed that. And I think 5 is as high as they're going to get. They're just not as good as OSU, Indiana, A&M, or Georgia. So Texas Tech is as high as they're going to get. If they win out, which they should, I mean, I know the Texas game is going to be competitive, but they should win that game. Um, you know, we'll see. We'll see them at 5. Oklahoma, Notre Dame, both very solid teams, both very flawed. Um, I think 8 and 9 is appropriate for them, and then Bama after that Texas loss deserves to be 10, and then Oregon and Ole Miss flipped. Oregon passed up Ole Miss. That's what Lane Kiffin drama does to Ole Miss. It drops them a spot. Um, and yeah, I think all the rankings this week are appropriate. And you were asking about long term if I think they're going to change. I really don't. I mean, I think if Indiana loses, then they will go to 3, um, maybe 4, maybe. I mean, they would have to get annihilated, for them to fall out of the top 4. Um, and then the SEC champ will be 2. So
Yeah.
we'll see where those rankings land. I think it really does depend on if Indiana gets smoked by Ohio State, as we both think they will. Because that'll determine who's 3 and 4, which is these days critical because I mean you want if you're you know, Indiana, A&M, or Georgia, you want to play either, you want to play against the team that beats the Group of 5 champ or the ACC champ, because odds are those teams are going to be, on their toes a little bit after beating up such a lesser opponent, and they're not going to be accurately ready for your team. At least that's how I think about it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But if I'm one of those teams, I'm like, please give me Texas Tech, or please give me Oregon, because they'll beaten up on trash the previous week, and they'll be nice, hot and ready for us. But that's just my headspace on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm overthinking it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on the bracket. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, we're finally moving on to the games. I know it took a while, but there was a lot of stuff to talk about with the news, so feel justified in that runtime for the news roundup. Moving on to the games, guys. The first big one for us is the at the time number 22 Missouri Tigers visiting number 8 Oklahoma. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, so Missouri loses to Oklahoma 6-17 on the road.
What a trash game! My
Yeah,
God,
horrible.
Missouri's terrible. They were awful, 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 awful.
And that's with Bo Pribula
Tribula
back.
back, yeah,
So,
yeah, but
I mean, they don't really have any excuses there. I understand John Mateer's playing good. He's not playing as good as he did last year.
right.
And he honestly didn't really play that good this game. He had like what 50% pass completions, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Meh.
But I mean, I don't know. And he had 60 yards on the ground. He was their leading rusher. But still, I mean, that's not. I mean, Bo Pribula played better yards wise, but he had 2 picks. So
Yeah,
that's really what sets him apart right there.
yeah,
You know, Bo Pribula, earlier had that injury,
yeah,
um, in the Vanderbilt game.
yeah,
Wasn't he? They weren't sure if he was going to come back for the season. But then he saw the backup playing. He's like, okay, I need to get back in there because they
yeah,
started to slide, man. I mean, that kid was playing so bad, but he
yeah.
didn't really play any better. So I don't know. What do you think about it? Boring game, yes. Oklahoma definitely should have played better, but they won anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma didn't play great, but as you said, they won. So I don't think we can really get too on them.
Right.
Um, I think Mateer, again, he has not been the same since his injury. At this point, I don't think he's really gonna be what he was before that injury. And we'll see how that affects them in the next couple games, because I think their playoff hopes live or die on his elite play. But yeah, this game's about Missouri. Good God. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz is up for so many of these gigs. A lot of people believe, Eric, that if Florida doesn't get Lane Kiffin, which right now it doesn't look like they will, that Drinkwitz would be the number one choice for Florida. He's also been named. He's currently the leader in terms of betting odds for the next Penn State hire. So his name's in a lot of these
Oh boy.
baskets. Oh, his name's in a lot of these baskets at big programs, and to do that against a top 10 opponent. I know the defense played well, but you just cannot score 6 points against that team and expect to find anything remotely competitive about your offense. I mean, nothing on the offense worked. Nothing. Kevin Coleman Jr. had 115 receiving yards. Yay, team, but it didn't go anywhere. This offense was lethargic the entire time. Um, it was just a mess. The team was a mess. The team's I mean, it's a standard Drinkwitz game, man. He never wins in the big spot. He's the James Franklin of the SEC. He puts up a sexy record and people drink the Kool-Aid. But when you really dig into the record for more than 5 seconds, you realize he doesn't beat who he should. He's 3-4 in the conference this year. 3-4. Okay, I mean, in the SEC, you cannot play like that against conference opponents. And I recognize that those losses are all against top, at the time, 10 schools. Vanderbilt is no longer a top 10 school, obviously, but at the time, those were all top 10 losses, and I recognize that. But you have to win one of those games. You have to win one. They've got Arkansas next week, and they should win that handily. But who cares, man? I mean, you have to be better in big spots. And as far as I'm concerned, if Florida or Penn State hired him, I would laugh hysterically because it would be the most predictable outcome ever. I mean, in both schools, if they were to hire him, would not be in the top 10
They
any
would
year that he
they
coached them.
they would be the same as they were this year.
Agreed.
I mean,
100%.
that's not a better hire, for any of those teams. You
Yeah,
might as well just stick with what you got at that point with Billy Napier and James Franklin.
you're
If
right.
you're gonna hire
100%.
Eli Drinkowitz, I mean, it's like
Yeah. Completely agree with you. Completely agree. So yeah, this game really, we've been doubting Missouri. We haven't talked about them a lot, but in passing, you and I have been like, yeah, Missouri, they're fraudulent. But this game proved that they're complete scam artists. I recognize Pribula was coming back from injury, but he's supposed to be, with all the money he got in the in the off season, with NIL, you should play better.
yep,
Um, and clearly they rushed him back from the injury. If you guys remember, it's the same exact injury Drew Aller got. Um, and Drew Aller's not back yet. Now, obviously, Aller's sitting out the season because he knows the season's over. But I mean, the fact that Aller hasn't even attempted to come back from his injury, he's prepping for the draft now. But the fact that he hasn't done that is very telling to me. And yeah, they rushed Pribula back. He didn't play well. He wasn't very mobile. Um, I mean, he had one 9-yard run that wasn't bad, but that was a scramble. That wasn't a designed run. He couldn't do anything with his legs because he was still recovering. And it was just a mess. It was just a mess. I really, I don't know, man. I'm out on Missouri completely.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but as far as Oklahoma goes, they've looked good recently. They've won 3 in a row now against top opponents. Not, I guess, top, but ranked.
Yeah.
They won against Tennessee, and then they beat Bama, then they beat Missouri.
And
So
then they and
and
they
then they
remember,
lost to Ole Miss
yeah, they
for
were
by only a
competitive.
little bit.
They were competitive against Ole Miss.
So
They
I mean,
were.
they look really good, and I understand they got blown out. Or I guess not blown out, but they didn't play that good against Texas. But I mean, dude, they've run through all the top teams in the
Yeah.
SEC and they've competed really well. So it's they've really impressed me because I mean they've had to run through the gauntlet
Yeah.
of
Brutal.
SEC. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think at this point it's safe to say that Texas game was an aberration.
Right.
Because every other ranked team they were competitive against in 3 of the 4 games they won. So you gotta give credit where credit is due. Yeah, big year for Oklahoma.
Yeah,
We'll see. I think the SEC title game is out of the question, but um, if they can, I think they have the potential to win a game or two in the playoff. Man, I think they have the defense to do it.
I agree. Yep.
So we'll see where they go from there. Um, that's all I have in that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, next up we had USC visiting Oregon. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, USC gets killed by Oregon 27-42. I mean, this is a big win. It's a big win for Oregon. In a way, I mean, they should be beating them.
Yeah.
Dante Moore played good, 22 for 30, 257 yards, touchdown, interception. But that's a good game. And to put up 42 points against USC, they've looked okay this year. I mean, they have 3 losses, but they've looked okay. That's not a bad game.
Yeah, this was a big statement victory. We've been saying for weeks that after that Penn State win, it was looking a little shaky for them because
Yeah.
now that win looks awful. They get beaten by Indiana pretty handily. And then Wisconsin keeps it relatively close. Iowa keeps it really close. Where is their statement victory? And I think this was the victory this year where they can definitively say they are a rock solid team. I'm not ready to call them an elite program, but and at this point in the year, I think we can definitively say they aren't an elite program. But this was definitely a win that was needed for them to be taken seriously, at least by me. I'm only one person, but that being said, this was a big win for them. And yeah, another top 10 loss for Lincoln Riley. What else is new? This guy was cheering like he won the lottery for being Iowa last week, and then he goes into Eugene and just gets absolutely annihilated. Um, I mean, the guy's done nothing. We talked about USA. I don't want to waste my time on them. They're a waste of time. I just whatever.
Yeah, their best win is Michigan.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, I agree. Who cares?
Yeah, you
Nobody.
especially. Who cares about Michigan being the biggest win?
Exactly.
So yeah, man, I just yeah. USC, they're pretty irrelevant on the big stage. I know they have a record. But they're still ranked, but that's solely because of the name. I mean, we all know why they're ranked. Um yeah. I don't know. Oregon, this was a big win for them. Dante Moore's been very inconsistent this year. We've been critical of him. But this was a great game, man. This was a great game. The interception wasn't brutal, so I won't hold that too much against Dante Moore. Um, it was great. It was again something I needed to see from them after a couple weeks where I was a little on the fence. Noah Whittington, he's had a very good year. He's a very good running back. He had a really solid game. Yeah, it was just a very complete effort. Not the best defense in the world, but Lincoln Riley's an offensive coach, so of course he's going to put up 20 points against you. I'm not going to lose sleep over that if I'm Dan Lanning. Um, just a very complete victory. Um, Although I do, in general, agree that Oregon, as a result of this, does deserve to jump over Ole Miss in the ranking. I think this again was a victory that really solidified them in the wake of some sketchy victories. So
I agree. Yeah, I don't hate them jumping because I mean, like you said, this is the biggest win they have in recent history. Recent history of being this season.
yeah,
I mean, and like you said about Dante Moore, man. I mean, we were saying Dante Moore was one of the best quarterbacks in the country after he beat Penn State in that great shootout game,
yep,
and then he really takes a hit and falls off.
yeah,
Honestly, these past couple months,
you're
and to
right.
see him turn it around like that, especially right now when it matters. I mean, it's huge, and it's not like he's really losing games for them. I mean, they're winning. So, he's maybe not doing everything he can, but he's definitely helping. And as long as they're not losing and he's just keeping them afloat, that's really all that matters to the playoffs. Now, like you said, I would not call them an elite team by any stretch of the imagination either.
Yeah,
I only call them elite till they start winning the playoffs, man. I mean, last year, yeah, they beat Ohio State in the regular season, get killed by them in the playoffs. I mean, who cares? If you can't win in the playoffs, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Um, so it's like you said. I mean, I don't mind not calling them elite right now. Yeah, they're the number 6 team in the country, but I mean, their best win at the moment is probably USC, which I mean, it's okay. They obviously they can't change their schedule mid-season. Penn State was
Of
a
course.
great program at the time.
Yeah.
That was a top whatever 10 matchup, but
And the committee will keep this in mind, guys. The committee will still consider that a top 10 victory.
right, exactly.
So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that that is in the moment that was a huge victory, and they will keep that. They will use that. They will consider that Oregon's biggest victory of the season, even though hindsight's 2020. But
Right.
with the in the backs, looking at the season as a whole, USC would be the best victory, but the committee will view Penn State as the best victory, and I can understand why.
Yeah, and I don't mind it. I mean, that's a tough place to play, and
Yeah,
they got the job done in OT, so that's
yeah.
perfectly fine.
And they got Washington next week, cakewalk. So
Yeah, big rivalry game for
it
them,
is
but yeah,
big rivalry game.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they've been Washington's been bad since DeBoer left, and then
yeah,
Penix and Romadunze left. So
yeah. So that should be a cakewalk for them, and we'll
yeah,
see. They again at on the current trajectory, they'll be number 6, and we'll see who they end up getting to play in the first round.
yep,
But
should be
I
fun.
guess I think until then, until the final rankings come out, I think we probably should put a pin in Oregon.
Yeah, I agree. Unless something crazy happens next week or
Yeah.
something, but
Unless, if they will lose next week, I mean, they're not out, but they're down to like 9 or 10, which would be
yeah.
huge. Uh,
But I don't think it'll happen either. But
I, I
just a
don't think,
fun little thing.
I don't
That's
think.
all I got.
Same here. Okay, guys, huge game for people in our area. The Pitt Panthers visiting number 16 Georgia Tech. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, Pitt upsets Georgia Tech 42-28, just murdered them on the road. Pitt jumps to 22, Georgia Tech down to 23, and next week's a big game for Pitt, but we'll get to that.
We called
Yeah,
this, man. We called this. We called
we
this an
did.
upset.
A lot of these ACC teams right now, and I mean, we said it last week. Pitt is honestly the best ACC team,
They
and which
really
is saying
are.
something because Pitt's not that good.
Yeah,
I mean, we've
yeah.
been saying it all year.
But they really are the best team in the ACC, guys. If you
I
look at all
yeah,
these rosters from top to bottom, the only thing Pitt is truly missing is an O line, and I think this game showed it.
yeah, they're missing an O line, but now with the injury to Des Reed, now they're missing their top running back, which is huge.
Yeah,
But they've shown they can get the job done. So it's okay with Jakarian Turner, he put up 200 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's an amazing game.
yeah,
Heinschel played good, 20 for 27, 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. Played better than Haynes King,
yeah,
who arguably was the better quarterback coming into the game.
yeah. He was.
I
He-
mean, and Pitt's defense, you can say what you want about Pitt, but Pitt's defense, they're legit.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's hard to, it's hard to play Notre Dame. I mean, they're an elite program, you could say, in this day and age, and Pitt's really not anymore.
yeah,
They have an elite level offense, and with the probably Heisman frontrunner of Jeremiah Love, so
yeah,
it's hard to. I mean, you can't stop that. Pitt just plays Georgia Tech and beats them. Georgia Tech obviously isn't great.
yeah,
It just goes to show that there's just different tiers of teams, man.
yeah,
Like, and just
yeah,
different levels. I mean, Notre Dame, an elite program in recent history. Pitt, not so great in recent history. And it's just like, but then they beat Georgia Tech, who's ranked better than them, ranked 16th. Pitt was unranked coming into the game. Um, and I mean they beat them. So it's
yeah,
just a different level, And you always talk about like ACC teams moving up to the SEC, like Clemson moving to the SEC. I mean, they would get slaughtered.
yeah.
They would be a bottom feeder team because they can't even win the
It would
ACC.
be.
So I don't know, but I mean, this is a huge win for Pitt, and they got Miami next week, so it's a must win. They got to win out.
Yeah, man. I think that look, giving up 28 to Georgia Tech, Haynes King is one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the sport,
Right.
particularly this season. So I'm not going to, Georgia Tech can put up points. So I'm not going to hold that too much against Pitt's defense. I think clearly Holstein was keeping this team back. He wasn't keeping them from elite levels, but he was keeping them from being a really solid team.
100%.
And so, you know, they're truly a force in the ACC this year. Next week's a must win to play in that game. Um, uh, uh, we said it earlier. I'm honestly predicting Pitt. I think Miami is reeling. I think that Miami team is a mess. I think that the Pitt defense will be able to expose Carson Beck for the hack that he is. And I think that Heinkel will put up enough against a very solid Miami defense to win that game. I think that's going to be one of those 27-24 victories for Pitt, and I think Pitt pulls it out.
Yeah,
I
I
think they do.
I agree. I mean, Carson Beck, man, he's honestly, I mean, he sucked this year.
Yep.
He started out good, and now he's just not. I mean, and it's a shame, because now they finally built a good defense. They didn't have a good defense last year.
Yeah.
That's why they struggled last year and didn't even make the playoffs. Um, and it's just like now they finally have a good defense. Now their offense isn't good,
Yeah.
in these past couple weeks. So it's a shame, but because they looked, I mean, they easily looked by far the best team in the ACC. And now that it's a toss up, I mean, this is not where you want to be if you're Miami.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely. Yeah. Miami's a mess. We'll put a pin in. We'll talk. We're
Yeah,
definitely going to talk about Pitt Miami next week, guys. That's one of the biggest games for us personally. So we're going to be watching that game intently. I will be very curious to see what happens, man. Because that game, I really do like Pitt's chances. But that's next week. In terms of this week, I guess to put a pin in it. Um, Again, doing this on the road, I think is very big for Pitt as well because I think everyone has really recognized how good they've been on the road this year. That West Virginia loss was not good. But they beat Florida State on the road, they beat Syracuse on the road, they beat Stanford on the road. Now are all three of those teams bad? 100%, but those are games on the road, and road games aren't easy to play. And clearly Narduzzi is able to get this team ready for plane rides and the like, which sounds really silly when you say it, but that's really important for a coach to get their team in the right mindset for these away games. Um, so that is something that I've definitely noticed when it comes to Pitt. Obviously the Miami game is at home. It is. I'm seeing here, Eric. I didn't know this until looking at it just now. This is the high noon ABC game. Um, yeah, for most people, guys, this will be the first time they see Pitt. So this will be a big week for them in terms of getting national recognition and a lot of eyeballs on them, which they haven't gotten this year. Um, yeah, it's just been really crazy, Eric. I think to see Pitt have a really good uh second half, considering that West Virginia loss was as bad as it was. Even with the blowout against Notre Dame, I think Pitt fans should be very pleased with this season.
yeah, I agree. And next week is, it's all that matters. And playing at home's huge in this game. And I mean, as silly as it sounds, it's going to be cold. Coming up to Western PA and almost December. I mean, that's it's going to be cold and
Look at the Dolphins.
right, exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
and it's still, I mean, it sounds silly, but it's true. I mean, weather matters, and it's a huge advantage. Pitt, they're used to playing up here. They know what they got.
exactly.
Miami, they get palm trees and warm weather. It's the coldest it gets is like maybe 60 degrees.
Yeah,
Um, so and that's a huge factor.
yeah,
Put some weather into the mix. With rain or snow, and it's a whole different game. And Miami loses probably by 30.
yep,
Um, so yeah, I mean that's a huge game, and I think that's another reason Pitt wins. I think Pitt wins. Pitt will win, and even they'll probably make the playoffs and they'll do nothing. Even if they make the playoffs, who cares? You
yeah.
know,
For the fans, making the playoff is their Super Bowl.
right?
for the Pitt faithful. If they make the
which
playoff, that's a
which
miracle.
is just so silly because of how good, how good they used to be. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is, but
half the people watching college football today probably weren't even alive when Pitt was good, but still.
yeah. I know. I mean, it's the same argument against Miami and Nebraska. I mean,
Right.
Miami and Nebraska were what Alabama and Georgia are now, and they haven't been that like that for decades. And at this point, I think it's clear neither ever will. But again, that's a whole other can of worms. Looking at this game, I'm really excited to watch this next week, man. Before this week, I was like, you know what? Pitt Miami, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll watch it. I'll switch over to the channel every 30 minutes or so and watch a few plays and get caught up. But now I'm going to be paying very, very close attention. Um, it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, that is it for the college games this week. We had a lot of really crazy games in the NFL, so I'm really excited to talk about these with you, Eric. First, we have the Indianapolis Colts visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, so the Colts drop one to the Chiefs 20-23. Uh Great game, man. It goes into overtime. Patrick Mahomes once again, somehow survives. And he really hasn't this year in close games and games that went in overtime and stuff. And he pulls this one out, like he always does.
Yeah, they were
He's
0-5 in one score games going into this game, right? I mean, they were
yeah,
awful in
and
one score games going in.
right, yeah, man. And this is a huge win. Huge
Yeah,
win for the Chiefs as getting Rashid Rice back. I don't know if we've talked about the Chiefs since Rashid Rice has been back. Oh wait, no, we did. But Rashid Rice, great game, man. 8 receptions, 44 yards, no touchdowns, but still
great,
amazing game.
great play.
Even Pat Mahomes played good. 29 for 46, 252 yards, no touchdowns. But when he also had an interception.
Yeah,
But Daniel Jones is kind of who I wanted to talk about.
yeah,
He was going in. People were saying he was going to be the MVP. Which he's looked like it, I guess. I mean, you could say he's looked the best he has in his career.
yeah.
Went 19 for 31, 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then he only had 16 yards on the ground. Who cares? Yeah, good game. And then Jonathan Taylor as well, who really should probably be the MVP right now. 16 carries, 58 yards. That's another good game. So everyone in this game played good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
the defense, man. This is the defense. The
yeah,
Colts were up 20-9 in the fourth quarter. You can't lose that game. I mean,
no,
you cannot choke that. You just can't do it. It's funny. I was at Mario's down in Shady Side on Sunday with friends watching the Steeler game, and there was one sad Colts fan sitting at the bar watching the Chiefs Colts. And every couple minutes I would look back and look at his sanity slowly deteriorate over the course of this fourth quarter. Um and I honestly felt for the guy because this is the best season they've had since Andrew Luck. And to blow this game with that kind of lead against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback of this generation, is really, really tough. Although he was wearing an Anthony Richardson jersey, so I don't feel any sympathy whatsoever. I feel nothing for that man. I hope he's suffering. However, this is this is about the Colts. Um, you can't lose that game, man. You can't. That's a horrible loss. Horrible, 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 horrible loss. You can't do it. Plain and simple. Um, I mean, this is one of the biggest chokes of the year, as far as I'm concerned. Considering how good the Colts have been and how good Daniel Jones has been this season, to go out and just choke it right when. Now, look, it's not Daniel Jones's fault. This is largely on Shane Steichen's, conservative play calling in the fourth quarter. But still, I mean that's a brutal loss for the Colts. As you said, big win for the Chiefs. This is huge for them. They've been average, to be nice. I mean, they've really been struggling a large portion of this season, and this doesn't make them a top contender in the AFC in my eyes, but this legitimatizes them again. I agree with you. Rasheed Rice is a hell of a player. He's a joy to watch. Um, really, really talented. Kelsey isn't having a good year at all, but he doesn't need to when Rice is putting up these kinds of numbers. Um, Same with Xavier Worthy, who's been up and down. So I think both teams were very, very good, but it came down to momentum. And, what else is new? Mahomes had the momentum. How many times have we seen that script? How
Yep.
many times? How many times, guys? How many times over his entire career has that script been played? So, um, yeah, man, it was just a brutal, brutal collapse. That's
Yeah.
honestly that was my big takeaway. You can't lose that game. You can't.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that they lose and Patrick Mahomes gets no touch. I mean they held him to no touchdowns the entire game. The only
Yeah.
person that scored for the Chiefs was Harrison Butker obviously, and then Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and like it's not good. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Your defense just has to play better, and I don't know how you collapse like that. I mean, you play so good all game, and this is actually honestly one of the worst losses of the season for the Colts, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I
Maybe
think,
besides like the Steelers game, just because it was sloppy play from the offense,
yeah.
but like heartbreak wise, this is probably the worst game.
100% because the Rams loss was tough, but the Rams at that point were surging. So I can't hold that against the Rams. And also that game was kind of expected because no one was expecting the Colts to be legit, and up to that point the Colts had a paper thin schedule. So the Rams loss looked par for the course for the Colts. And then they came out with some victories against the Chargers and the Falcons, and they look legitimate again. The Colts have had a really easy schedule. You can't ignore that. They listen to these wins, Eric. Dolphins, Broncos, Titans, Raiders, Cardinals, Chargers, Titans again, and the Falcons. Those are their victories. I
Yeah,
mean that is a very paper thin schedule. That is not good at all. Um,
and I mean the only real teams that they've played, Steelers are tough to say call them a real team, but I mean they're good.
yeah,
They lost.
you're right. So I mean, coming up, Texans should be gimme. Jaguars aren't bad. But they're in Steelers territory for me, so that's a crapshoot. Seahawks
Yeah,
are very good. That's a very good team. Niners are a very good team when healthy. I don't know how many people will be back at that point from injury. And then the Jags and Texans again. So we'll see.
watch out for that Texas defense, man. They've been putting up some good numbers recently as well.
That is very true. That is
And
very,
look what
very
happened
true.
last time when he ran into a good defense with the Steelers, and the Steelers are just obviously, honestly, an average defense.
Yeah.
So this is it's telling for sure.
You're right. I think the Texans game, that is a dark horse pick for upset of the week. We
Yeah,
should keep that in mind. So Indy, it's hard when you lose these big games against big teams. You just it's just hard to take them seriously. But as for Kansas City, I mean, they've had a very difficult schedule, and they've come out of it relatively unscathed. I mean, they beat the Ravens without Lamar. They beat the Lions, which is their best win of the year. And then this Colts win is big for them, but you lose to the Bills, you lose to the Eagles, um, you lose to an average Broncos team with Mo Picks as your quarterback. It's just hard to take them super, super seriously. The Cowboys game on Thanksgiving should go their way. I do think they are a better team than the Cowboys. The Cowboys did have a big game, which we will talk about in a minute or two here. But I do think the Chiefs win that game, and then the rest of their schedule's paper thin. So we know how this dance is going to go. They're going to get to the AFC title game, even if they aren't a great team. We've seen this before, but I don't know. I don't know. That's all I have. What about you?
yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, next up we had the Eagles versus the Cowboys. And Eric, was this a bigger collapse than the Colts?
Oh, 100 I think it was 100%, honestly.
I agree with you.
I mean, oh my gosh, man, the Eagles up, what, 21-7 at the half, then blank in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Cowboys win it 24-21 at home. Horrible loss, man. Dak started out so bad, and it was so good for the Eagles. And, honestly, just the whole
Yeah.
Cowboys offense, but even with Javonte Williams. And then he flipped the switch and started playing lights out in this, second half, and Jalen Hurts, it was kinda like the South Carolina, the South Carolina game last week.
Yeah, against
You know,
Texas
you get
A&M, yeah.
one team dominating one half, then the other team dominating the second half
Yep,
and winning. I mean,
yeah,
it's just like, that can't happen at the NFL level, man.
you can't.
You can't be up 21-7 I mean, it's not like a crazy amount, but you can't score 0 points in the second half. I mean, that's just uncalled for, especially with the offense you have. You know, Jalen Hurts, Saquon, Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown. You know, it's just like you can't, and against a bad Cowboys defense, you
Yeah.
can't go blank in the second half.
Yeah, man. This honestly, this game, I think this is one of those games where there's a ton to say about both teams. This isn't about one team or the other. I want to start with Dallas. Look, we've both been critical of Dak. I stand by my comments. I think you can make a very good case that he is barely in the top 10 when it comes to quarterbacks in the sport. However, when he gets on a roll, dude, there's no one better than him. I mean, he goes on runs where you can't he won't miss a throw. He'll go through all of his progressions. He will see every single receiver on the field, and he'll find the correct route and he'll nail the throw. I mean, that second half, I mean, that's as lights out of quarterback play that you will ever see. I mean, just absolutely remarkable play. Honestly, it's hard to play better than he did in the second half. Um, and I also want to call out George Pickens. This is going to rub some salt, this is salt in the wound for Steelers fans. What a year. What a
Oh yeah.
turnaround for this guy. His career was dead. It was dead as a doornail, and he has turned into a top 10 receiver in the sport. I mean, it's been a long time, Eric, since I've seen a turnaround like that. That's insane to me. Considering how truly inconsistent Pickens was. I mean, I think he's just in the right system. He knows his role. Um, as you know, he went into the season knowing he was the number 2 to CeeDee Lamb. But at this point, he's surpassed CeeDee Lamb. And he's become Dallas's number 1 choice. He knows his role. He's seemingly got his head on straight, and he's turned into an elite player that I think a lot of people thought he could be coming out of Georgia. But he had a ton of issues, both injury wise and attitude, behavior wise. But what a turnaround for him. I guess as for Philadelphia, or Philadelphia, as I like to call them, um, Jalen Hurts, I mean, you're right, man. I mean, just awful play in the second half. We've known this Eagles offense is a disaster. Um, but I mean, the second half of that game was a whole other level for me. I mean, that was like absolutely crazy. Uh, how Kevin Patullo still has his job is beyond me. He's one of the worst OCs in the sport. Eagles fans want his head on a pike, people, and he still has his job. And Nick Sirianni, the idiot that he is defending him. How does he? Can you explain to me, Eric, how Kevin Patullo still has a job
No.
after how bad the Eagles? This is like Matt Canada levels of offense. I'm not even exaggerating. It's bad. How do you make Saquon Barkley non-existent on the field? Think about that. He's made Saquon Barkley non-existent on the field.
Yeah, I just don't think they're feeding him enough. Like they'll go on, you know, strength where he gets the ball, you know, 20 some times, and that's what you want to see. Then the next week, you know, and obviously that week he'll put up like, you know, 150 some yards or something crazy. And then next week you feed him the ball like 6 times and he gets like 20 yards. It's like, what do you expect? It's
Yeah.
like I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. And then obviously all of AJ Brown's off the field stuff, and I
Right.
think with Phil, and it's created a situation where for the Eagles, it's just a perfect storm of poor play calling, off the field drama, and a tough schedule.
Yeah.
And those three things have come together to create a season that they are number one in their division, but in many ways that that record's fraudulent. I mean, they have barely escaped. They barely escaped the Cowboys in week 1. Then that Chiefs victory was by the skin of their teeth. The Rams and Bucks were solid victories, but then that Giants loss for me was the moment where I was like, "Oh, okay." Like this is a mortal team. The Vikings victory means nothing to me. JJ McCarthy's been a disaster. The Packers game was probably the ugliest football you'll ever watch, only for the next week against the Lions to be even uglier, which I didn't think was possible. And then yeah, man, this team is just if I'm a Philadelphia fan, I mean it's pretty miserable. I mean, when you think about how the Phillies exited the playoffs, with Ryan Kirkering's errant throw, and then the Flyers being just as atrocious as they always are. It's a really bad time to be a sports fan in that city. I'm loving their misery, but that's because I'm a Pittsburgh native. If I'm looking at them objectively, the Eagles should be so much better than they are, man. They have the talent on that team on both offense and defense to be number one in the NFC, without a doubt, no questions asked. And they are so far removed from that I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even make the conference championship game. They're a mess.
Yeah.
They're just a complete mess. It's hard to watch, to be honest with you. It's hard to watch. I don't know if I'm an Eagles fan. It's a really, I'm feeling really bad. I'm feeling very pessimistic on my team.
Yep.
So I don't know. Give the ball to Saquon. Kevin Patullo should get fired. I think if those two things happen, this team's great again. So
Yeah.
get it fixed, guys. I don't know. I can't believe I'm getting angry about the Eagles struggling as a Steelers fan, but honestly, I feel they deserve to be. Yeah, I mean, they're such a frustrating team, man. Because there's nothing I hate more, and I say this about every sport, to be honest with you, and I mean it very sincerely. But it's so frustrating when you see a team, even a team that you're supposed to hate, constantly come up short, even though you know they're good enough to not come up short. Like the Ravens at this point, Eric, for me, and I say this as a Steelers fan, but like the Ravens are a team where it's like, how can you not feel bad for Ravens fans? They Something always goes wrong, and it's the most random shit you've ever seen that constantly puts them down. I mean, their legendary tight end dropped a pass last year, and that's why they lost in the playoffs. I mean, stuff like that. Like it always happens with Baltimore, and I feel it often happens with the Eagles too. Especially this season. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I mean, I feel at this point you got to be, with a bird's eye view. No pun intended with the Eagles. With a bird's eye view on the team, I mean, I feel like you almost have to feel bad because they should be so much better, and you're not seeing the best football that you can. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why the NFL is kind of struggling, not struggling, I guess, but like this year, I mean, to us, it's not, like to the
Yeah,
casual fan, it's good, of course, but to someone who really like digs deep and, really analyzes these games, I mean, it's hard, man.
preach,
You
man.
know, for
Yep.
for, for a team that should, I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, they have every piece they need right now: a high-powered offense, good defense, and they're obviously good, but they're not as good as they could be.
Yeah.
Um, and it's frustrating to watch.
Yeah, the great teams. If the more great teams there are, the better it is for the hardcore fans. Even
Right.
and I completely agree, man. That's the NFL has just been so up and down this year because of all these underperformers. I mean, it's really really frustrating. There are very few truly fantastic teams, and it's just frustrating. But I know that's the perspective of a hardcore fan. I know casuals don't care about this stuff, but as someone who has to watch these games every weekend, it bothers me. So
Now,
I
would
just
you
want to,
say is
yeah.
that because everyone's good, or is that because everyone's bad?
I honestly think it's because everyone's bad. I think there are so few. I think there are a lot of, game wreckers in the league this year, particularly on offense. There are a couple defense, on defense, Micah's obviously a game wrecker, Max Crosby, TJ, the obvious, the usual suspects. But, there are so many great players on offense this year, and yet there are barely any great teams.
Yeah,
It's like there's so much talent across the NFL, but in so few instances everything is coming together. I don't know if it's a head coaching problem. I don't know if there are just a bunch of really bad head coaches that are keeping all these teams down. I mean, I think Nick Sirianni's a terrible coach. I think Brian Schottenheimer isn't a very good coach for Dallas. So in the context of this game, yeah, the head coaching wasn't good, but I don't know if it's a head coaching issue across the league, but there's so much talent that I feel is getting squandered across the board, and made the NFL really difficult to
yeah,
watch. I mean, there's a reason that you and I have been trying to focus on college for the majority of this season.
right.
Um, and I think that, again, to hardcore fans, we notice this more than some of you who are more casual. So maybe it's just us, but yeah, it's just frustrating, man. I want to watch great games even if it's with teams I hate. I want to watch great
Yeah,
games, and I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of them this year.
yeah.
I mean, can we honestly call the Eagles and Cowboys a great game? Both teams were shitty for a half. Like, can we call that a great
Right.
game?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, that's
Yeah.
not a good game. So I don't know. It's just tough. It's frustrating.
Yep.
Okay, that's my soapbox. There's my
Yeah, that's all
rant.
I got as well.
Okay, last game, guys. The Giants visiting Detroit, which is not a game I thought we would talk about, but Eric, here we are.
Yeah. So the Giants lose to Detroit in a great overtime game once again, 27-34. And Jameis Winston is the quarterback for the New York Giants, and he didn't even play that bad, man. He went 18 for
Yeah,
36, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception, and what he caught one too, I believe. Yeah, he caught a pass of over 33 yards.
pretty good
I
game.
mean, from Gunnar Olszewski, who played for the Steelers and he sucked, but that's another
Yep.
thing. Um, Here, I love Jameis, man. Jameis Winston's honestly probably one of my favorite players in the NFL because he's
Okay.
just so funny to watch, man.
His
I mean,
air punts never cease to be funny.
yeah, yeah. Like he'll give you a game, he'll come out and sling it for like 500 yards, but
Yeah,
he'll throw like 5 picks in the making.
yeah,
So
you're
it's
right.
just like it's just so funny. And then on the other side, Jared Goff, 28 for 42, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But the really game record here was Jahmyr Gibbs, man. So good this game. 219 yards just on 15 carries and 2 TDs. Oh my goodness, that is a elite level performance from him. He was so fun to watch in this
It
game.
was
And even
great,
Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 receptions, 149 yards, and a touchdown.
great
That's
game.
just amazing stuff. This line, the Lions just played so good
It's
on
a Dan
on
Campbell
offense.
offense, man. Dan Campbell offenses are fun to watch.
Yeah.
They're really, really fun to watch.
Now he did have some questionable calls once again, coaching calls that is, or decisions you could say on fourth down.
Yeah,
I I mean,
yeah.
not necessarily in this game, but just like in recent weeks. I mean, it happens every year with him, but he's surprised
Too
he didn't
aggressive.
even go for it in fourth down. But
Yeah.
um, just in like recent weeks, do you almost think he's too aggressive? Would you say?
I really feel. I mean, there's a famous line from Vince Lombardi, the greatest coach in the history of professional sports, in my opinion. There was only one game that Vince ever lost in the playoffs, and he did an interview about it after the game, and he argued that the reason he lost the game is because of he took full responsibility for himself, and he claimed that it was because he didn't take the points. There were multiple instances in that game where I believe I don't remember who they lost to, who the Packers lost to, but they lost to, an underdog because they kept going for it on fourth down and didn't kick field goals. And honestly, the art of the field goal, I feel, has been largely lost in modern both NFL and college football. I mean, I do love the aggression. Last week I was praising Kirby Smart for going for it on his own 28, but at the same time, I feel the art of the field goal has been lost. You have to know when to take points. You have to know if the football gods are telling you that a touchdown is not going to happen, you got to know that that's being conveyed to you, and you got to take the points in that instance. And the Dan Campbell is way too aggressive. He is way too aggressive. It cost him against San Francisco a couple years ago in the playoff game, in the NFC title game. The Lions fans lost a Super Bowl appearance because of that. And I don't see nearly enough Lions fans raising hell about his aggression. You'd think there'd be more at this point. But yeah, I think he's way too aggressive. I think he's way too aggressive. I think you have to know when to kick. Kicking is important. I don't understand why it's being lost, especially when all these kickers are making 60-yard field goals. Let them kick.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not like they have a bad kicker. I mean, they have Jake Bates. So it's like, what's the deal? I mean,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't get it. But, this game was great. Just an offensive shootout.
It was
The Giants had 517 yards of total offense,
nice.
and then the Lions had 494 yards of total offense. Now, yes, the Lions had less yards on offense, but I think the Lions' performance was better. Just because it was more complete. Because you had the rushing attack and the passing game.
Yeah,
Where really on offense for the Giants, it was all Jameis Winston, which isn't an issue. Obviously they're down Cam Scatterby with the injury, and Tyrone Tracy, he stepped up, but I mean he's not the same as what he was, or he's not the same as even Cam Scatterby. So I still think the Lions was more impressive in that regard as well. Not
yeah,
only them winning the game, but
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I think Detroit's a really rock solid team. They have their off weeks, but overall, I think they're very good. I see them having another deep playoff run this year.
yep, for sure.
I do. Last note that I wanted to say, the fake handoff that Winston had to Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy, laterals it back to Jameis Winston, and then Jameis Winston arm punts it into the end zone for a touchdown. That might be the funniest play I've seen this year. If you watch that play, guys, Jameis Winston literally just threw it in the air and had no idea where he was going with it, and that alone made it so funny.
Yeah,
I
gotta
just
love
wanted
James. I love James, bro.
he's so entertaining because
He is.
he'll do something like that, and I know it worked out, but he'll do something like that and you'll be like, what are you, like, you have to like almost like have like one of those the Homer Simpson meme where he has to take an extra look at his computer.
Yeah,
You have to be like, Jameis,
yeah.
buddy.
I mean,
But then, like you said, he throws for almost 400 yards, and it's like, holy hell! Like, you gotta give props where props are due. So, I mean, he's such a weird player. I think he's too inconsistent with stuff like that to be a starter. But I gotta tell you, he might be the best backup in the game.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
think about the true backup quarterbacks in the sport. Cousins is deteriorating. He's too old. I mean, if you really look at it, Winston might be the best backup quarterback in the sport.
Now,
He really might be.
what are your thoughts about Mason Rudolph coming in though? I mean, I would say he's one of the better backups in the league because he'll keep you afloat. I mean, and even Joe Flacco. No, he's obviously not he's technically a backup.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a backup for the Bengals right now, and he's not getting it done, but he's doing enough, I guess.
He's doing enough. He's doing enough.
Um,
Enough in a lost season, which we should, is impressive.
right,
Um,
but I don't know. I mean, I'll put it this way: Jameis Winston's just one of those guys where I wouldn't want him on the team, but he is so fun to watch.
I
I'll
would agree
watch
with
him as long as he's not on my team. I'm happy.
I would
You
agree
know?
with that. To be honest with you, I wouldn't want him as a Steeler, but you gotta be honest, and he is fun to watch. To answer your Mason Rudolph question, I mean, I've said for years that I don't really think he ever got a fair shot in Pittsburgh.
I agree,
Um,
man.
and I don't know if he has. I don't know if he has the raw ability to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I got to tell you, I think he has the fundamentals to be a solid quarterback in the NFL. I think he's able to run through his progressions. He throws maybe one too many checkdowns for my personal taste. I was watching a good chunk of the Bears Steelers game, throwing way too many checkdowns. Way too many. That's a real problem for him. But is that on him or is that on, Tomlin's play calling? I don't really know where Rudolph ends and Tomlin starts. So I don't know if that's completely fair to hold against Rudolph. I think Rudolph's respectable. He's probably a top, 10 backup quarterback. I'd have to really go through all the rosters to figure out who the best, if he's a top 5 backup. Um, but yeah, he's definitely solid. And again, I will maintain that he never really got a fair shake in the
Yep.
Steel City. So yeah, that's my take on Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
that's it for me on that game. What about you?
Yep, that's all I got.
Okay, guys, that is it for this episode of Catching the Facts. Thank you so much for listening. Looking ahead in college football, guys, this is rivalry weekend. We got so many, at the very least, competitive games. Even if it's bad team against bad team, there's always going to be some fun matchups in here. Eric, are there any in particular that are sticking out to you other than we've been talking about Texas versus Texas A&M for a couple weeks, so that one's obvious. But are there any other ones that you are really excited to watch?
Next week, yeah, Texas A&M. That's gonna be a good game. Do you think if Texas wins that game, they're in? I mean, I
Uh,
feel like you. uh,
I feel with 3 losses you should not be in, but um, especially because they would have to be, you would have to jump over probably Miami and the Group of
Yeah,
5 team. So I would argue that they would be like 13. But
but I don't know. I
well,
mean, you can. I guess we could talk about hypotheticals all day, but
we can.
I mean, I don't think they win. To be honest, I mean,
I
Arch
don't
is just
think they
too
win.
inconsistent. He is gonna have to play lights out, especially what I saw last week.
Yeah,
Last week with A&M. I mean, it's just I got to see something better.
they're gonna have. He honestly, Arch needs to have the game of his life, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah,
He needs to have the
no, that's
game.
not an exaggeration. No,
So I think Georgia fans want A&M to lose because that would increase Georgia's odds of being in the SEC title
yeah,
game. So Georgia fans are going to be rooting for Arch. I don't think anyone else is going to be rooting for Arch.
no,
Um,
definitely not.
but yeah, that's going to be a big game. Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia Tech. That loss was so bad to Pitt that
And
I
even then, I mean,
yeah.
even if they beat Pitt by a handful, I mean, it's still gonna be. We know what we got going on there. I mean, that's gonna be a 40-point game. It's a good rivalry, but it's not gonna be anything fun.
I would agree with you.
Um,
But obviously the big game for you is the game.
the game,
Um,
Ohio State, Michigan.
yeah.
I mean, I
At
don't
the
even
at,
want
at the big house.
to.
Ohio State guys, let's just be honest. They beat Texas in week 1. That was a huge victory. But after that, their schedule has been paper thin. So this is a big game for them, man. On the road, in one of the toughest environments in the entire sport. It's not a night game, which I always feel helps because I feel for some odd reason I feel the home crowds are more electric at night. This is the Fox, big noon kickoff game. Critical game for Ohio State, man. This is it. This is it. This
Yeah,
is what the regular season has been building up to.
yeah. I always say, I mean, and I think everyone that watches Ohio State can agree. I mean, it's a 5-week season, man. I mean, you got Michigan and then the playoffs. Nothing
Yeah.
really else matters because I mean, you're always going to be good. You're never going to be teetering on the edge of making the playoffs, literally ever. Now, especially now. So I mean, it's a 5-week season. Beat the team up north and then go to the playoffs and win a natty. Who cares?
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, yeah, this is a huge game. Eh, Even though it might not really matter, it matters. I mean, this is the biggest game of the week in my eyes. It's the biggest rivalry in all of sports.
It is the biggest
Um,
sports. Yeah. Outside of
it's
maybe Yankees, Red Sox.
yeah, right. It's it's a must win. Let's put it that way. It's a
It
must
is.
win.
It is.
You know, Sherrone can't beat Ryan Day again. Ryan Day can't lose to them again. You know, this would be what, 5 in a row. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, nobody on that on the Michigan team has lost to Ohio State on that entire roster
Yeah.
ever. So,
Yeah. Uh,
you know, this is big. I hope Bryce Underwood gets exposed, even though he already kind of has. He sucks.
yes.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like I'm sick of hearing that kid's name. He's not even good.
Sure.
Um, but I mean, I don't know. It's a must win, and I don't know. I just get so much like anxiety leading up to this
I
game,
get
just because
it.
it's
Yeah.
huge. I mean,
I
it's so
understand.
scary because it's unpredictable.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I've been saying for weeks that I really feel Ohio State, this is their year.
Now
So,
we thought that last year too, and look what happened.
and I get that. I
I
get that. But
I don't get it. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
so I really do feel that Ohio State wins this game.
I hope
But
you're right, man.
I got to tell you, I'm looking at it here. The soon to be dead ESPN bet that did you see how that app is imploding? That's really funny. That's a whole other conversation. But they have the spread at 9.5.
Mm,
It's going to be closer. I would not lay the 9.5 there. It's gonna be closer. I think that I think it's gonna be, a close game, but I really feel that Ohio State's physicality is hard to beat. I think Sharon Moore has the heart. He's gonna bring the heart and the grit to the Wolverines that the Wolverines need to make that game competitive, but I don't think that his players just have the raw talent that Ohio State does. As you said, Bryce Underwood compared to Julian Sayin is apples and oranges. And yeah, I really think Ohio State wins this game. I would be truly shocked if Michigan were to upset. Um, but we'll see. As you said, it's a very unpredictable game, storied rivalry, storied matchup. All sorts of crazy stuff happens every single year. It's going to be interesting to watch at the very least.
yeah, and you know, and when Ohio State wins, I don't want to see any flag planting either. None of that. I mean, that's just
Yeah, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm going to every single one of those players, and I am telling them you are not putting our flag in the middle of
no.
the White House. You're
I
just
mean,
not.
because I mean, we're you know Ohio State's expected to win. I mean, it doesn't. You can't.
Yeah,
No flag playing. I understand it's a big rivalry, but that's just childish. You know, just
I
you
agree.
already won the game. Who cares? You know.
Yep,
So
100%.
and then I guess I don't know. Another games I'm looking at probably Pitt Miami. That's a big one.
That's the other
Um,
big one I was looking at. I think that's uh, huge for both teams. It's going to be really interesting to see how that one turns out because Pitt will go to the ACC title game if they win that.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah, and then yeah,
it's going to be a big one. I'm going to have to watch that and Ohio State at the same time. I'm going to be literally, dude, I'm going to be flipping back and forth constantly um to watch both of those. That's gonna be fun. So
yeah,
yeah, guys. I mean, rivalry weekend. There's always crazy stuff that happens. Does Auburn upset Alabama? I doubt it. But crazy stuff happens all the time. You know, rivalry weekend's always great. It's a great way to end the year. I'm excited for that.
yeah. We
Um,
should have some good news too. If any fights, if it was anything like last year, we're gonna have a lot of news to talk about.
yeah, there's gonna be fights.
Yeah,
There's gonna be fights.
which I like that.
I do too. I know that's a hot take, but I think
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
no, man, bring on the violence.
I agree with you.
Let the guys throw some fists.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then as for the NFL this upcoming week, obviously, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, to all of our listeners. Um, Eric, happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you have a
Happy
wonderful
Thanksgiving
day.
to you.
So we have our games. Obviously, the Lions have their game. They're hosting the Packers. Um, that should be pretty good. The Packers have been pretty shaky at times, but I think that game, it's going to be very close. It's going to be a hard fought victory for whoever wins. I am excited for that one. Are you excited for either of the other Thanksgiving games? I mean, they're okay. They're
Well, I
fine.
was gonna say, I mean, the game that I'm really keeping my eye on is the Bengals game. You know, with Joe Burrow's return.
That is true. Yeah, Burrow is back. Can he throw a wrench into the Ravens' revival that is going on right now? Lamar's back from injury. He's led that team to a couple big wins. Can Burrow throw a wrench in that? I mean, I'm curious to see if they can. That you're right about that. Burrow. It'll be interesting to watch him play. And then I mean, looking up ahead, Bears Eagles. That's a big game. Bears Eagles is huge. The Bears are red hot. They've won 7 of 8. Caleb Williams is really starting to turn a corner. As a leader on that team in year 2. And then the Eagles are floundering. So I think if the Bears can come into this game, the Eagles are favored, which is crazy to me. But if the Bears can go into Philadelphia and really put you like the Philadelphia, I love it too. If the Bears can go into that city and really put lay a big one onto the Eagles, I think we're gonna have to take the Bears really seriously. So this is a big game for them, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
And then looking ahead at the rest of the NFL schedule, nothing too great. I mean,
We got Shador Sanders really kind of first real test kind of against the 49ers though.
yeah, that's going to be, can he do something? I mean, he had a very average game. He threw 200 yards against the Raiders. I don't consider that to be anything of note, but he did win the game. Let's be fair, and he did throw a TD. So, can he do something against the Niners team that's up and down because of injury? I need to see it to believe it. Right now, I'm gonna lean towards San Fran.
Yeah.
In that one. But I mean, Bills Steelers. I mean, I guess that's a decent game. I suspect the Bills are going to win by 10 points, but the Steelers always have weird games where they beat some great opponents. Josh Allen will probably single-handedly beat the Steelers, knowing him. So, yeah, there's a lot of great stuff, man. We got rivalry weekend and we got Thanksgiving games. So there's
Yeah,
a
love it.
ton. So next week should be, honestly, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if next week's episode, approaches 2 hours. We're going to have a ton of news. Like Eric said, the sheer volume of fights that are probably going to happen is going to be something that we're going to need to talk about. Lane Kiffin, is there any movement on them, on that situation? And then all these games in both college and NFL. So next week's going to be really, really big. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Man.
super.
It's going to be fun. So that's all I've got for, the episode as a whole. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, guys. So again, that is it for this week on the Catching the Facts podcast here on the Catching the Facts official podcast network. Thank you so much again for listening. We are airing, as always, every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We post on both YouTube and Spotify. Please follow us on both platforms. Please like, comment, and subscribe to help us grow our standing within the sports talk community. And yeah, guys, get ready for next week, because next week is going to be the highlight of the season. Probably because there's just so much stuff happening in both leagues. It'll be a lot of fun to talk about with my co-host, and I'm really excited. And I think I'm speaking for Eric as well when I say that he's really excited too. So, big game, big games, big episode next week. Tune in. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah. So that is it for this week. We will see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate. Until then, I'm your host, Dan Sisk.
And I'm Eric Schroeder.
And we'll see you then.